I'm David Volk, a voice of the resistance, albeit a strange and funny one. Today's post, the name game. There's trouble on the streets of Salt Lake City. Sometimes you just run out of ideas. I don't know how to put this, so I'm going to come right out and say it. There's a problem on the streets of Salt Lake City, Utah. No, I'm not talking about homelessness, drugs, crime, or even poor maintenance. I'm referring to the fact that the city appears to be facing a street name shortage. Oh, sure, the city has its main street, Oak, Elm, and Sycamore. It even has a Smith Street. What city in Utah doesn't, really? But somewhere along the line, the city grew so big, so quick, that it appears to have just run out of street names and gone strictly with numbers. It's not anything wrong with that. I mean, mighty New York has a Fifth Avenue and a musically mentioned 42nd Street. Bobby Womack even sang a soulful song about 110th Street. But come on, people. Having a 700 South Street is a bit much. And the thing is, that's not even the biggest number. Oh no. In my many trips to visit my son, who was attending school there, I have noticed number street names as high as 10,600 South, 11,400 South, and even 14,600 South. Not only does that reflect a lack of imagination and possible laziness, it also reveals many missed opportunities. Many missed opportunities. At least 14,600 of them. Just think of all the possibilities out there, especially in Utah. If there really are at least 14,600 unnamed streets stretching from Salt Lake City to the suburbs of Murray, Jordan, Draper, and beyond, I have plenty of ideas to fill the gap. Since it's the world headquarters for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, for example, they could have started with the 15 books in the Book of Mormon. The Holy Book, not the Broadway show. Except that 4 of them are named Nephi. So that takes it down to 11, because there's Nephi, second Nephi, third Nephi, and fourth Nephi. Or is that 12? It's 12. Then they could have added the 239 chapters within those books if they have separate names, which then would bring the total up to 250 or so. I'm sorry for the math. There's a little bit more coming. Throw in the 133 prophets and 66 chapters in the King James Bible, or if you want to say Old Testament and New Testament, you've got about 449. Now you're getting somewhere, but you're still pretty short. There are other options, though. First, I believe the city should seek assistance from the International Monetary Fund. After years of emergency airdrops of vowels into Poland, where they barely use them, it's time for the IMF to call in its loans and either get those letters back to work or work out a trade where Salt Lake City exchanges its numbers for Poland's excess English letters. Either that or the mayor should go on Wheel of Fortune and buy a whole shitload of vowels. Once you get down to the nitty-gritty of naming names, a work colleague of mine suggested you could add the names of the members of the Osmond family. And not just the 1970s singing group, the Osmond Five, which includes Alan, Wayne, Merrill, Jay, and Donnie, but also assorted relatives, including Marie, Jimmy, and their kids, which must number in the thousands by now. Come to think of it, since the Saturday morning Osmond 5 cartoon was in the same lineup as the Jackson 5 cartoon, you might want to throw in the Jacksons for good measure, as well as their sisters and their father, and assorted hangers-on, including Liza Minnelli, Elizabeth Taylor, and Bubbles the Monkey. I don't know about you, but I'd love to see a Bubbles the Monkey Boulevard. And Jermaine. Don't forget Jermaine. What do the Jacksons have to do with Mormons? Well, absolutely nothing. But when you're looking for a lot of names, the Jackson family is as good a place to start as any. The cast of Napoleon Dynamite might also be a solid source of names, as the film's creators are Mormons, and the film contains many Mormon in-jokes. I can hardly wait to see a Vote for Pedro Parkway. The creators of South Park aren't Mormon, but they wrote the Book of Mormon, so that's as good a connection as any, especially when you need more names. I suggest using all the characters and expressions from South Park, adding around 60 more options to the mix. Which means one day in the near future, we can see an intersection of Terrence and Phillip, an oh my god, they killed Kenny Highway, and a respect my authority Avenue. Of course, if all else fails, they could do what Dementia J. Trump would do and just sell naming rights to the ones that remain, like Russia, Russia, Russia Road, No Collusion Way, and Christie Gnome Gardens. Or should that be Christie Garden Gnome? That's it. Show's over. Nothing left to see here. With a special thanks and hat tip to Dan Imbabao, who knows what he did. I've been David Volk, a voice of the resistance, albeit a strange and silly one, who's looking for a good map.